Oh my goodness.
Next week's a very big week for the economy. So I read the CEA blog. Is the White House trying to change the common definition of a recession because next Thursday the GDP numbers coming out are going to show that we've been in a recession?
So let me say this, the strength of our labor market along with the other economic factors is what we generally see in a recession or even what is not what we generally see in a recession or even a pre-recession, because we're seeing the strength of the economy and the labor market. So that's really important.
The job for the 3 months trend, the growth of job growth in the U.S. is shrinking, is decreasing, and 7.5 million people, a growing number, are multi-jobs, meaning they have to work more than one job to afford a living. So is jobs really a good indicator there?
Look, here's what I would say. We've always talked about the strength of our economy. We've always talked about how historic it's been, and we've always talked is what we see as strength of the economy. Again, we're going to transition into a more stable and steady growth, and so we're going.
Right now, we are witnessing the beginning of one of the most significant events in human history: the clean energy transition. It is long overdue, and it can't progress fast enough.
Look, fiscal policy makes a big difference. This is not the time for stimulative fiscal policies like continuing moratoriums on student debt relief. This is not the time for anything that's going to be a big new spending program. In fact, it's the time for short-term deficit reduction.
So when I think about what we need to do to address mayor, what ultimately does so often fall on the shoulders of our mayors to address on a community level, we need to take action at the federal level.
The Bannon conviction, what do you think of this verdict, and what do you think of what's likely to happen to him?
Entirely predictable and entirely in violation of the Constitution. The only provision of the Constitution which appears basically twice is trial by jury. He didn't have a fair jury. Number two, the judge took his defenses away from him. The judge denied him a jury trial. The conviction was a foregone conclusion. The only issue is, will it be reversed by appeal, either by the appellate court in the District of Columbia or by the Supreme Court? I think it's very likely that this conviction will be reversed at some point.
I suppose the political overlay is the obvious, but this is a community of 94% Democrat.
Well, not only that, but probably 97% Trump haters. And all you had to do is, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this man Bannon worked for Trump. That's the end of the case. And then he wants to put on a defense that he was executive privilege. And the judge says, no, the jury is not going to hear that. So even if there were a fair jury, the judge denied the jury the basic facts. And so the issue in this case has always been a legal one. That's a major constitutional issue.
Your husband's the worst president we've ever had. You owe us gas money. You owe us gas money. You owe us gas money.
Well, let's remember Thurgood and Constance Baker Motley and Charles Hamilton Houston. They understood you'll fight it in the courts, but you also fight it in the streets, which is about organizing the people.
OSTB has done a lot of work under President Biden on energy and climate, and there may be no area of science that is more politicized than energy and climate. Of the almost 200 nations on planet Earth, which nation has reduced its CO2 emissions by the greatest number of total tons over the last 15 years?
Senator Cruz, I would probably want to look at the data to give you a complete answer to that. I know the U.S. has been very good at reducing our emissions after having the greatest emitter.
Okay, the complete answer is the United States of America, which has reduced our CO2 emissions by more than 600 million metric tons in the past 15 years. And my last question, because my time has expired, what is the principal cause of the United States leading the world in the reduction of CO2 emissions? And there is an objectively correct answer to this.
Senator, from my recollection of looking at the shifts in U.S. emissions, they have come about, I believe, from a combination of efficiency improvements, of shifts in manufacturing, and of the adoption of renewables.
Okay, that answer is scientifically false. The answer for the principal cause of the reduction of CO2 emissions is the substitution of natural gas for coal in the production of electricity. That is objective, it is scientific fact, and it is dismaying to me that your answer to this committee is the political answer rather than actually talking about science and data and facts. And it also explains why the Biden administration has a relentless hostility to natural gas, even though it is the principal driver of carbon reductions. That is not science, that is politics, and frankly, it's bad politics.